President Trump just backed down on tariffs, but he also escalated on tariffs at the same time. He just posted this to a social media account. It's a little vague and confusing, so I'm going to take it one thing at a time. Let's start with the backing down part. Trump said he has authorized a 90-day pause on those so-called kind reciprocal tariffs. It appears he means he is going to pause those reciprocal tariffs that were put on lots of countries around the world, as he indicated on that big board last week. The president said instead of certain countries being hit with all these different percentage of tariffs, all countries would see a flat 10% tariff. That is effective immediately. However, the Treasury Secretary said those 25% tariffs that Trump already put on things like energy from Canada and autos from Canada and Mexico, those would still stay. Trump says he's pulling back those kind reciprocal tariffs for 90 days because, according to him, 75 different countries have called the White House to make some sort of deal. Now, it's important to understand none of those deals are done. And the Treasury Secretary said it's going to take some time to make those deals because they are bespoke deals, meaning different deals for every single country. But there's one country that has not called to negotiate. As I said yesterday, that country is China. And that is where things are escalating. You know, at midnight tonight, those 104% tariffs on China began. How we got there? Back in February, Trump put 10% tariffs on China. In March, he put another 10% tariff on China. He said those were because of fentanyl. Then last week, during that Rose Garden ceremony, he put 34% tariffs on China. When China saw that number, they said, we're going to put 34% tariffs on U.S. imports going into China. And because of that move, President Trump this week said, we're going to slap an additional 50% tariff on China. That's how you get to 104%, which took effect at midnight. But that's not where this story ends. China this morning said because of these two numbers, now they are going to put 84% tariff on U.S. goods going into China. And as a result of this, President Trump said, forget 104%. Now China is going to get 125% tariffs. Now, as I said yesterday, China is one of the top 3 trading partners with the United States. We import a lot from China. And if you add a 125% tariff on all that stuff, things are going to get expensive for all of us. Now, it is possible that for the next 90 days, now that those reciprocal tariffs are reduced down to every other country other than China to 10%, U.S. importers may start trying to rework their supply chains to avoid Chinese imports and instead import goods from all these other countries. Now, that cannot happen for everything, but it could happen for some things. But here's the thing. Businesses, especially small businesses in the United States, want certainty. They plan this stuff months in advance, and turning this tariff light switch on and off and on and off is the definition of uncertainty. This is not good for business. And the other important question is the president used extraordinary power last week when he announced these kind reciprocal tariffs. He said the trade deficit was a national emergency and that it was necessary for him to use this emergency power. But the legal question is, if there's an emergency, then why is there a 90-day pause? Do we have an emergency or not? And if there's no emergency, then does he actually have the power to impose these reciprocal tariffs in the first place?